Hey everybody, welcome to today's weekly Success Builder. My name is Valerie Saunders. I am the Chief of Staff for the National Association of Mortgage Brokers and glad to have everybody on today's call. So for today, as we're all cycling in, I thought what I would do is kind of talk about interest rates and how we can all prepare ourselves to really capitalize on this coming purchase and refi window before it closes. I don't know how many of you were at NAMB Focus, but we had Barry Habib as one of our keynote speakers. And as part of Barry's session, he did say that we should all be starting to prepare for a refi boom. He did not say how long it would be, but he said that we would be having one. And if we kind of look at where rates are right now, we are seeing rates, currently at a 3-year low. They're hovering right around 6. Some lenders are reporting sub 6%. We have inventory that's up. Prices are softening in a lot of the major markets across the country. And I know a lot of us are trying to figure out, okay, how do I prepare myself? And what can I do to get ready for what is about to happen? Of course, we're also about to come into the spring buying market. So I thought that we would briefly today talk about how we can basically sort of activate both sides of our business right now, purchase and refinance. As I said, Barry did say we were going to have a boom, but it wasn't going to last for a long period of time. So we don't really know how long the window is going to stay open. We know it's not going to be forever. So we need to be prepared. So I did a little bit of research, and so I thought we would kind of start with just looking at some numbers. So if we look at all entities that are reporting rates, according to some of the surveys, rates are hovering in the 6.2s. As I mentioned earlier, there are some lenders that are under 6. We do know that, of course, that depends on the types of programs, but rates are the lowest that we've seen since late 2020, early 2023. And although, the spread between the highest and lowest, can be 1% or more, it just means that people are going to be rate shopping now more than they have in the last 3 or 4 years. So what's changed for buyers? Well, obviously low rates means that it increases individuals' buying power. A monthly purchase and interest payment is roughly about 23% of a median's family income. And that's down from 30% or more when rates were in that 7 to 8% range. As I mentioned, inventory is finally increasing after not seeing much movement over the last few years. And on top of that, about half of the top 50 metro areas are seeing some price declines over the past year. So what this means for us as loan originators is that those buyers who sat out in 2023 and 2024 because they were priced out of the market or just frustrated overall, more than likely they're coming back. And those people who you spoke to 6 months ago and you couldn't make the numbers work, well, now that rates have gone down, the math has changed. So we need to start looking at our database and look at who bought the last 2 years. And maybe now that rates have decreased enough, they're in that sweet spot to refinance. So create that, you can create that call list. And, we're going to come back to that. So we're kind of looking at a two-front strategy because we're looking at a purchase market and a refinance market. For those of you that were on my call last week, we talked about first-time home buyers being at an all-time high of age, which is in that 40 years old. That is higher than it's ever been since tracking. So those people are in prime buying time. So they may have been priced out in 2023 or 2024, and they may have given up, but they're still in your CRM and you still gave them a pre-approval. It just expired. Those would be the first folks for you to call. The first-time buyers with prices softening, rates going down, the math should finally work for a lot of those folks. And hopefully they've been saving, they've been nurturing their credit, and they've been waiting for a moment like this. So that is probably your FHA and your conventional low down payment borrowers. And then we may also have some folks who are now ready to potentially move up to a larger home. If some of those individuals who bought when they were at 3% aren't moving unless it makes sense, well, they have probably built up enough equity. Rates are 2 points lower than they were at the peak. So some of those situations probably make more sense now. So what does all of that mean? Really what it means is we have the best purchasing power that we've seen in 3 years. So now is the time to pull your CRM for anyone who inquired in 2023 and 2024, but they didn't close. So maybe you could segment them out. Why did they not close? Did they lose out in a bidding war, or was it because they couldn't afford the payment? Or maybe they were waiting for rates to drop a little bit more. That is the group that should be getting a call this week. The next front is building your refi pipeline. So, of course, you always want to work your purchases, but we need to be setting ourselves up for this refinance wave. So who would refinance right now? Well, that's probably anybody who closed at a rate of 7% or higher in 2023, 2024. Anyone who did a cash out refi at those higher rates can now refinance to lower their payment. And of course, we all are sitting on a lot of equity, but we're also sitting on large amounts of credit card debt. So those may be the folks who need to consolidate debt and take advantage of that equity that they have, that they've built up over the last few years. We also want to talk about the urgency factor. That's, Barry told us we're going to have a refi boom, but the window's not going to stay open for very long. Some of the things that are working against us is, of course, the Fed policy. So, we know the Fed held rates steady last week. And of course, we know that what the Fed does doesn't always necessarily have a positive impact on mortgage rates, but they are watching the inflation data closely. We have another inflation report that's going to be coming out this Friday, ironically, Friday the 13th. So if that number comes in hot, we're going to see rates tick up pretty fast. We also are about to get into our spring selling market. So inventory is going to start increasing once we hit March and April. Competition's going to start heating up. So those buyers who wait might find themselves back in those multiple offer situations again. And of course, we're still in rate volatility. So the 10-year Treasury has been hovering around 4.2% since mid-January. And that's our indicator for rates, mortgage rates. So any movement there is really going to ripple through what you can offer your borrowers. So what does this mean for our business, your business? Create some lock strategies. Don't let buyers start trying to get cute with locking in the rate, trying to time the market. Move fast on those refinances. Of course, we all know a 0.5% jump can really change the whole calculation. And borrowers who act in February and March are going to get better deals than those who wait until the summer. So we're not creating a false sense of urgency. We are creating real urgency. This is about looking at market conditions, which are favorable right now, but in 60 days, they may not be. So here's some different tactical things you can do this week. So first, database mining. Pull everyone who inquired but didn't close in 2023 and 2024. Pull a list of everyone who you did close and close at a rate of 7% or higher. Then segment those lists by property type, loan type, what was the reason for not closing, and then create call lists. Make a purchase list and a refinance list. Of course, your scripts are going to be different for each, but you have two very distinct lists sitting in your database. Next is making calls. You may find yourself making 25 calls or more per day. We all have gold sitting in our mine, which is our database. You need to start actively working that. Create some scripts. No reason why you can't take advantage of AI to help you formulate those scripts. AI can make your script conversational. You don't want to be too salesy, and it'll help keep things on track. Maybe you hire, you've got an LOA or a processor or someone else in your office that can do these calls. Have them perform these calls for you. But your goal should hopefully be 10 legitimate conversations, if possible, per day minimum. Then set up a tracking system. Who needs a follow-up? Who needs pre-approval updates? Who needs some refi analysis? Also, you need to reactivate those ongoing realtor partnerships. If you haven't talked to your top 5 realtor partners in the last 2 weeks, now's the time. Send them a message, leave them a message. We're seeing the best buyer conditions in 3 years. Who do you have that tried to buy last year, but you couldn't make it work? Maybe offer to do a joint open house with them or a home buyer seminar. And then, of course, use 3 simple, easy outlets that are available to you for marketing. Number 1, email. You've got that database. Create an "Is it time to refinance" email with a simple calculator. Also, your social posts. You can do before or after payment comparisons. They can just, of course, make them generic. And then some video content. If you have TikTok, you have a YouTube channel, you want to do something simple on Facebook, 3 reasons to buy now versus waiting for spring. Next, look at your lender relationships. Look at all of those of your top lenders. See what rates that they're offering for every single scenario they have available. Ask them about any promotions. Also, make sure that you are maintaining consistent relationships with those top 3 to 5 solid lenders so that when these calls are being answered, when these emails are being responded to, or when you're being messaged through any of your social channels, you have a possible place to put those loans and you can move quickly. Also, just maybe look at accountability and closing and accountability. So look at those 2 call lists, your purchase prospects, those folks that you gave pre-approvals to, and your refi candidates. Make your outreach calls, track your conversations. Make sure that you connect with those top 3 realtor partners and reactivate those relationships. And then see where your win is. If you got a win based off of some of this information, feel free to share it. send me an email, send me a social post. Happy to definitely make sure that we are doing everything we can to help make your week a success. I'm going to send everyone on this call a email template that's going to have a to-do list and a quick reference sheet so that we can all hold ourselves accountable. And hopefully we will have some successes. So I will post the recording of this session in the NAMB Hive Weekly Success Builder section. I will also post a link in there to this checklist and give you an overview of all of this information. But I don't know how to stress any farther. Now is the time. Let's get ready. We are on the verge of, or beginning the start of, a hot purchase market and a refinance window. So make sure the window doesn't close, that you're reacting quickly, and you're doing the best that you can with those calls. So that is it for today. I hope that you folks found this information beneficial, and we will do part 2 of this on our next call. Next Monday is President's Day, so since that is a holiday for folks, we will not have a call on Monday, February 16th, but we will do our next call on Monday, February 23rd. So I hope everybody has a great rest of their week and you make it a success. Thanks. Talk to you all soon.